Hello, good evening and welcome to this live stream. Yes, it is my partner anniversary, apparently. I didn't know either, but it's been 5 years since I became a Twitch partner. It's been a little bit longer since I started streaming, but it took a few months for me to get Twitch partner. Affiliate you get really quickly, you need like 3 viewers, but you need like 75 and a lot of stream time for Twitch partner. I technically don't stream enough to be Twitch partner. I did at the time just to get it, and then I went back to twice a week. You never lose it. Anyway, welcome! How are you all doing tonight? Yeah, affiliate's really easy. You don't need to stream very much, and you need only, as I said, an average of at least 3 viewers per stream. Which, of course, the 75 for partner I also instantly got. It's just that I didn't stream enough, because twice a week for about 2.5 hours is not enough to get partner. So that didn't quite work. So I had to stream more, which I did for a bit, then I got partner, and then I went back to streaming less. Even I can become affiliate, so I can do this now. Yes, your beautiful face. I'm making dinner. Have a nice dinner. Thank you for the 48 months, Major Geeks. And welcome everyone else. Too many names already to all enumerate through. I've been having a great time for the past 5 years. Hope you guys have been having a great time too. How much do you have to stream before you start rivering? What? I get it's a joke, but I don't get the joke. Oh, stream river. Yeah. Getting ready for watching inside our new house, which is being built tomorrow. Well, you can't watch me tomorrow because I'm not live tomorrow, unless you're watching the VOD back, I guess. But good that your new house is being it's being built, it's being worked on. Oh yeah, Christ, I have to reconnect RST1. Hang on. It's because I opened Roller Coaster Tycoon in a really old version, which is annoying, but I had to for bug testing. There we go. I don't need it right now. Because we are going to play one of the candidates for the Open Scenarios project, which is apparently very difficult. It's called an expert scenario, but someone chimed in, said, "Hey, I couldn't do this, even with all this stuff." Valder then said, as a response to that, "I think it might be impossible," and I was like, that sounds like a challenge to me. It's called Vanity Fair. And it's not here in Expert Park, so it's probably down here in other parks. By the way, all the bug testing I've been done in Vanilla, check this. So many different save files for testing, because guests were losing happiness much faster than I'm used to all over the place, and there's definitely some differences. I can't say exactly what's different yet, but things are different. And sometimes guests lose a lot of happiness, and that's been a big problem for me in building the longest coaster, but I've worked out the design, finally. Anyway, we are going back to Vanity Fair. Oh, it's not here either? Where is it? I don't see it there. It's not here. It's not here either. Hang on, what's it called? I go to... Did I put it in the correct folder? Yeah, it's called Vanity Fair.park and it's in my scenario folder. And I did restart the game. Let's just restart again, just to be sure. So, now we've got everything connected anyway, which is good. Where is it? Where's Vanity Fair? It's not here. There still isn't a search function in the scenario tab. No, apparently not. Under case collection. Ah. Okay, not here. You made it. You say it's not impossible. Have you done it, Kippy? Kaifi? Sorry, I forgot. I know your pronunciation was different than I would usually do. Ah, here it is. So, this overambitious park project went under during construction and was abandoned. Clean it up and salvage its incomplete coasters. Objective to have at least 2,000 guests in your park and not let the rating drop below 700 at any time. Well, let's see what we're working with. That's the same thing. Okay, it's the classic thing of having a few roller coaster bits, you know, that you can connect up. There's no money in this scenario. We got a go-kart that seems to be fully functioning. Yeah. It's even connected to the path. This thing is in bits and pieces. There should be money. Okay, now there's money. Maybe I downloaded the wrong version. Hang on, I got it from the... I can show you where I got it from. Oh, you say it's extremely old. I got it from this place. Which is... I mean... It said... deprecated, but... Yeah, I got it from here, which is... Maybe not the correct... Oh, that's the project outline. No, that's not where the scenarios are. This does look different than I'm used to, this sheet, but... it does work. My cousin is in labor with her baby. Well, good luck to her. Okay, so we got money now. What do we have here? Okay, so we charge... What can we charge for? The charge for the entrance. Okay, we've got a go-kart. Does it have stats? No, of course not. Needs guests to test it. In any case, there's a reason I haven't migrated this to the GitHub yet. Well, I'm gonna play it anyway. With money. Charging for the rides. Okay, that one's broken down. Let's first just clean up a bit. I know there's a lot of... I'm just gonna charge an absolute hire an absolute ton of these, and then just fire them quickly. Oh god, they're all starting at the entrance because we've got some guests there. That's not ideal. Well, at least the entrance will be clean. That I'm gonna have to fire them, otherwise it will cost me a lot of money. Because payday is coming up. And that's not great. Also, I am in a hurry. Okay, this one is now open. Okay, they are sweeping a lot. That's good. But yeah, I'm gonna have to fire them to save some money. 10% per year. No ads. I'm gonna have to just build some rides just to get the park going. So... There we go. Thank you for the gifted sub, by the way, Slime. Duckify the park. There we go. And drink some water. Yeah, spilled a bit. Now my shirt is wet. As happens. Okay, the park rating is still pretty much 0. We still got quite a lot of puke. Yes. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get one of the guests. That isn't on the goddamn right. And we're just gonna put in there. Another one there, and then we're just gonna hire a ton of handyman. Just so that I can clean up the park nicely. Marcel has a drinking problem. Yes, I do. Drown the first guest. Oh god. I don't know which was first. No real names, please. Okay, they're on our right currently. Okay, I'm going to fire all the handyman again to save me some money. There we go. We're about... There we go, we just paid. Now can hire them again. Okay, that seems like enough. You are dead. I'm gonna move some of these manually. Should have done this before I got any guests. Then they would they have been evenly distributed in the park? I'm not sure. But it would have definitely maybe been better than this. Why do you have real names on? Because that automatically reset after I opened up a really old version. I didn't do that myself. Okay, look at that. Park rating is improving. Good. We have a month left to get the park rating up and running. Oh god, there come all the ducks. I forgot about the ducks. Okay, I'm gonna just connect this up. Thank you for the 48 months, Biscuit. Okay, fire. Fire! To begin whipping Dance of the Dead. I believe we have cleaned up most of the mess now. You guys are also not necessary at the moment. That's one to the left. Okay, that doesn't quite work. Right. Oberon. Oh, that's going the other way. That didn't work. Keep up the good work. Always fun to watch your videos. Thank you, Lead Shade. I'm gonna have to, and thank you for the 13 months. I'm gonna have to hurry up. But we're getting there slowly. I'm gonna hire some entertainers to make the guests happier. Get a few handymen going as well. That's not aligned. You know what? I don't have to keep that. Oh, there's more there. Well, I don't have to keep that either. Okay, that works. Yeah, we'll easily make that. Okay, which direction does this go? Okay, that goes that direction, and this goes that direction. You know what? I'm just gonna destroy this. Because it's not useful. I'll just build whatever I want in its space. Maybe I feel like you should not have been able to destroy that. Wait, oh god, all the messages are off. Whoops. There we go. That's why we didn't get a message. To be honest, even if you can't destroy those coaster pieces, you can still build the coaster without using them. There we go. I'm gonna get some stats from this. We've got a few closed rides. Again, I haven't touched this in years. I'm pretty sure that wasn't an option when I made it. I'm pretty sure it was, because that's a vanilla feature. If you just make it monumental. Although, maybe then you can't alter it at all? Yeah, no, maybe that's not possible to just... I know that if you do like a complete these coasters thing, like in Volcania, whatever there already is, you can't destroy. But maybe that's only a complete these 5 coasters thing. Okay, we can open this one. We can open that one. This one is also destroyed. It's incompletable, this maze. We are at 667. How happy are the guests? Yeah, not a lot seem... Quite a few seem to be not super happy. Well, they're happy, they're just tired. Okay, we are now on 694. We just need a little bit more stat. More excitement and more intensity to get us above 700 for the first time. Because we are nearing trouble. Thank you for the 6 months, Mr. Twallaford. And for the 9 months Sunset Fractals. That's a lot of subscriptions today. That's a good day. 694 still. This thing now has stats. And I assume by now so does this one. Yes. Time for Crooked Highs. $709. We have made it. We have definitely made it. And now we have time. Because now we don't need to worry about it going... about the park closing. That doesn't mean we have beaten the scenario yet, but... Okay, how about Gentle, Roller Coasters, Thrill, and Water Rides? Okay, what kind of stalls do we have? Info kiosk, we still have that. We already have that, I mean. $20 because I'm a bastard. Yeah, how about we actually charge for the entrance? All the guests so far have been getting in for free. That's not the best of ideas. Oh, money effects are off as well. Using old versions is annoying. How rich are these fellas? 85, that's good. 65, then it's either a 50 or a 90. 5. 75, 75, 75. Where's the min and the max? The min or the max? One of the two we're missing. 55, there we go. I think 30 is good for now. Well, we have the go-karts and the Giga Coaster, both of which provide a lot. And a bunch of other rides. Yeah, no, we're... Oh, of course, we're using the old calculation again. So we're easily up to 40. Because every ride is worth at least $6 when it's new. I still kinda gotta get used to that. I still don't have that fully in my head. Thank you for the 26 months, Nisse. Did you see my analysis of the bug? The happiness change that I put in the OpenRCT2 development channel. Let's see. Well, we shan't build a ride yet. We shall first complete this one, and here I'm not gonna destroy anything. Because I'm not in a blind hurry anymore. It's interesting, isn't it? So, for those who don't know, I've been working on a new longest roller coaster, and I'm working with guests. And a lot of the I've been having a lot of problems because I built something that works in OpenRCT2, and then I tested it in vanilla. Because my rules for a longest coaster is that it has to work in vanilla. So none of that increased limit nonsense we got now. So I tested it in vanilla and it wasn't working. And one of the reasons was that apparently guests, when they don't have all their needs met, lose a lot more happiness. And that was a problem because the happiness of my guests was too low. I eventually found a way around it. Well, not really around it, but to work with it, I guess. But I've done some kind of bug testing and to see what exactly the difference was. And like what exactly caused it. I think it's about time we start to fix some of the vandalism. In RCT Classic, Q-line TVs don't work. Do they not? Like, not at all? Okay, we definitely don't have the cash at the moment to build this roller coaster because we are at 3,000 and... yeah. They leave the queue after a while. Really? Well, that's a good thing that I don't need RCT Classic for the longest coaster. Because yeah, they shouldn't. They should only leave the queue because their happiness is too low. And queue lines should prevent that. Queue line TVs specifically. Normal queue lines don't. Okay, we are going to highlight path issues and we are going to fix all the vandalisms. Hey, thank you, Max. Oh, by the way, for the people last stream that said why instead of using borderless gaming to make it full screen, instead use this option, full screen borderless. I didn't get it to work. I did try now to make it work today without the borderless gaming program interfering with it, and I kind of got it to work. So yeah, it works for me too, except when I clicked on my other screen or like opened another program, it would flicker. And sometimes my taskbar would become visible on my OpenRCT2 screen. It didn't minimize, but it still wasn't perfect. So what I'm doing right now is still better. And of course still the issue of when I would have a recording program open, my cursor would suddenly become invisible. Which is also a problem I have when recording RCT Classic. Which luckily I don't need to do very often. Do you think knowing metagame aspects like firing Handyman before payday makes things too easy? I mean, it certainly does make things a lot easier. Do easy depends a bit on how you're playing, I guess. Because I can just tell myself to not use that, you know, which I'm perfectly fine with. If I'm going to try, let's save to be sure. If I'm going to try, you know, this campaign, and I want it to be difficult, then yeah, that makes it too easy, because it's not difficult. But that's not what I'm doing. I can still have a good time playing Extreme Heights just by intentionally not abusing anything. Now, of course, one man's abuse is another man's normal dealing, so it depends a bit on what you call abuse. Wait, are there stalls in here? Right, I don't have anything to make scenery invisible at the moment. There's a toilet in there. Well, now we have two close together. Okay, maybe I should not open this maze without it being fixed. It's just not solvable at the moment. And I don't think that's a very good idea. Okay, I think now it's solvable. Let's make it nice and make it fill up. Best value park. Mate, I'm charging 40. Isn't that... Does that mean I can charge 80? Because I think that means if you charge half or less than the maximum value. Like, how much do these guests just wanna yeet all their money at me? Because Christ on a horse. Oh, whoops, there's still a... There we go. All countries with at least 5 time zones. Oh, good God. Right, best toilets. It wasn't best toilets, right? No, best value park. France. I'm gonna say UK for all the random islands all across the world. Russia. Canada. USA. So yeah, France, UK, Russia, Canada, USA. Is that all? Or am I missing something? Okay, that's probably going to be another toilet. There are 8. Okay, I got 5 so far. Yeah, there's a toilet in there as well. Missing 3. Not Brazil, right? Australia? Okay, how about some balloon stalls? Yeah, no, not China. China is massive and got 1 time zone. Idiots that they are. Well, idiot that Xi Jinping, sorry, Winnie the Pooh is. Vatican City. Would be really impressive if they managed to actually enforce 5 time zones. You take 3 steps and it's an hour later. So I got Australia. Portugal? Maybe they have some random islands still across the world. I know it's got the Azores. How about the bumper cars? No Portugal, eh? I have in my head Indonesia. Is that big enough for 5 time zones? But like, it's got to be really big because it's at the equator where the time zones are larger. So countries on the equator are less likely to have a lot of time zones. There are some pretty big countries like Mongolia, Kazakhstan, India, which I know India, I believe, just has 1 time zone. So I don't think it's any of these. I don't think Kazakhstan. Canada 5. I named Canada. I discovered your YouTube videos recently thanks to a trip to my childhood. Love this game. What's with this duck plague? The duck plague, we just spawned in some ducks. You know. Just to have some fun. And welcome. A trip to your childhood. That sounds great. Okay, so we are still not doing great financially. But we are getting there. I'm going to charge, you know, we don't care about the guest count. We'll care about that eventually, but right now I'm just going to charge 55. Now, you know what, 65, because we cannot advertise. Although our soft guest cap is currently plenty high. So yeah, no, I'm going to do 65. We haven't reached our soft guest cap yet. Child rotated 90 degrees. Yeah, that would get 5 time zones. It's like 6,000 kilometers. Okay, in the vein of still having some random islands. Like, doesn't New Zealand have like an island here or there? Maybe some Melanesian or Polynesian or the other Nesian countries? Like Kiribati? Or Micronesia? Wait, New Zealand really has 5? Is it some like random islands like Niue? Or is it Australian? Or like Christmas Island? I think that's Australian as well. Denmark. Oh yeah, but Greenland, Denmark. Well, Greenland surely doesn't have more than 1 or 2 time zones. I bet Tuvalu has many time zones. Tuvalu is more vertical, I believe. Which would not lead to it having many time zones. Denmark as well, right. But really, does Greenland have that many time zones? Isn't Tuvalu super small? Yeah, it's a bunch of islands that are oriented more vertically. You know, if you're oriented horizontally, like Kiribati, you might have more than 1 time zone. That was an interesting question. So of all the countries, only Canada and Russia don't have random islands time zones. The USA would also get to 5 without random islands, right? Because 4 on the mainland, and then Canada and Hawaii. I mean, Hawaii is kind of a random island, but Alaska. I said Canada. Sorry, that's not the US state. I meant Alaska. So Alaska plus the contiguous 48 already gets you to maybe even 6, but at least 5. But yeah, Russia and Canada are, I believe, the only ones to have 5 or more time zones on a contiguous land space. Which is interesting. I mean, yeah, the USA has quite a few random islands. Like Northern Mariana Islands as well, and Guam and Bikini Atoll. Indeed, Guam, American Samoa, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands. Indeed, the Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos or something like that. Isn't it also American? Okay, 8,000. We are now making enough money to start working on fixing this. I assume that's going underground. Well, you know what? We're just gonna start building this way. Ooh, we can fit another loop here. Yeah, there we go. Turks and Caicos is British. Right. I always forget which of those tiny islands in the Caribbean belongs to what nation. Oh, Bikini Atoll is part of the Marshall Islands. I thought it was bombed by the USA. You know, nuclear tests. Yeah, that's why we have SpongeBob. Indeed. Okay, I'm gonna... Marshall Islands did used to be US territories for a period after Wee Wee 2. Yes, don't the Marshall Islands, along with some other of those, along with maybe 2 other countries, have like a special clause that citizens of them can more easily emigrate to the USA? Because of like bonds, whatever. Okay, this bit is at least fairly easy to connect. There we go, that's easy. Okay, which direction does that go? That direction. How do I connect this? Oh wait, now this is going to that, and that's going to like that, and that's going back. Well, that connects according to the game, but I wouldn't call that safe. That transition. Yeah, that's gonna kill people. Which is my wet dream, but I don't think it's ideal if we want to beat the scenario. Also, I can allow firing staff again. I disabled that because I thought I might need to disable that to beat the scenario. But I can now allow that again. Because we're doing fine. My phone updated today and I'm liking it. What changed? My neighbor sneezed so loud I heard it through the concrete wall. I've never heard a neighbor sneeze, I think. Well, maybe I haven't, I just didn't really properly register it. The design changed. Apple calls it liquid glass. Oh, you're an Apple girl. Right. I've seen liquid glass. Right, tracks. Oops, I forgot this bit. It's called Ifrit, which just seems like someone spelled the Dutch word afrit wrong. Afrit is like exit, like from a freeway. I think a friend of mine complained about the eyesight thing as well. It's more difficult to see, or at least he said that someone he knew complained about it. I think he can see fine. Well, he can't, he got glasses, but with glasses he can see fine. I'm not like an Apple fangirl or anything, I just have a couple of Apple products. Yeah, well, I was joking. But I don't go buy the next one without needing a new device first. There is An interesting thing though has happened, because I have a friend, the same friend I just mentioned, that he has an Apple device, an iPhone, and he needed a new phone. But he doesn't only have an iPhone, he also got a Mac. And they of course easily integrate with each other, because that's kind of all Apple's thing, right? And we discussed a bit about him needing a new phone and all that jazz. Let's follow this train. And like, which should I buy? You know, what do you need? Well, you probably need roughly the same as me, and I bought a Samsung A54 2 years ago. It just served me well. He bought a significantly more expensive Apple product, iPhone whatever. Not the most expensive one, still like one of the cheaper ones, but it's Apple, so it's more expensive. And kind of one of the reasons is that he's very used to all the Apple integration, and like is a bit scared with technology because he's had some mishaps from when changing, you know, transferring data from Apple to Android and such. Which is kind of the thing with Apple. Once you're into Apple, it's kind of harder to get out. Even, it's not like he's wasting, I mean, I think it's kind of wasting money, but it's not like it's a problem. He's got a good job, it's fine. It's not like he spent a lot of money. So, in terms of spending too much money, it's not like that's a problem for him, but still, he could have saved like 200-300 euros and gotten a cheaper phone that does the exact same thing. I get it though, it's not like I'm not judging him for it. Okay, what are the stats of this baby? 7.56 excitement, 8.8 intensity, 7.21 nausea. Everything integrates great with Apple, yeah, but only if you have other Apple products. And they are expensive. It's the other way around as well. I have a Samsung phone, Samsung earbud, Samsung watch. If I get an Apple phone, those won't work with them either. Yeah, but I believe that's mostly because Apple is refusing to work together. Because it's not like Android is one company, right? Like, a lot of different Android products will work very well with each other. We're making good money, nice. I'm going to start charging more. So Android products will usually integrate pretty well with each other. It's just that Apple refuses to cooperate. Okay, we got 23 entertainers, that's costing quite a lot of money. We can fire some of this. Place a toilet and a first aid stall next to Ivrit's exit. Well, the toilet doesn't do much, and we don't have a first aid stall. Because riding a nauseous ride does not make him pee. It really does depend on what you need to get out, because I can definitely see the Apple workflow being beneficial for some people, but for me, I don't know what I would get out of Apple, because I'm not transferring files from my phone to my computer very often. Every now and then a photo, which I'll just upload to my Google Drive, which is not the most streamlined, but I do it maybe a few times a year, so, and it's still pretty quick. So that's not a good reason for me to get an Apple product. Other than that, I don't really do much interplay between my computer and phone. I mean, I can't get an Apple laptop anyway, I think, because a lot of products... I mean, I would eventually be able to make it work, but OpenRTT on Mac is less convenient than on Windows. It does work, but... And RST Vanilla, I believe, is difficult to work on Mac anyway. Mac OS. For me, it's generally just programs on Windows just work easier and better. Especially with like games and stuff, old games. I really like being able to copy something on my phone or laptop and then paste it on the other device. It's very handy. I can imagine. That's why I said I can imagine for some people it's incredibly useful. Not for me though. Because I don't ever do that. Well, very rarely, I guess. And if I do need some kind of shared stuff, I can always just set up a Google Drive something. Which is a little bit less smooth. But I do it so rarely that that's fine. But yeah, there are some places, which you mentioned as well, Carrie, is that sometimes people just assume that if you have an Android, you're poor. Which is weird, because Androids are just as expensive as iPhones at the very top. Wait, we can use the spinning tunnel. Cool, if only I had some kind of straight piece. I have 0 straight track pieces. Only gay ones, so I can't put my tunnel on it. Well, then no tunnel. That's a lot of cars. Guests are complaining about the length of queues. Well, guests can shut the hell up. Apple isn't a tech product, it's a lifestyle product. I've seen that before and I get where it's coming from, but like... not really, it's obviously a tech product. Just also leaning a bit more towards the lifestyle, which you do pay for. My girlfriend has a 10-year-old MacBook. For her it's still more than enough. That does help with the investment, they last so long. On the other hand, I can get a new laptop every 3 to 4 years. In the end, I spend more than she does. I mean, you don't need to get a new laptop every 3 to 4 years. Maybe if you bought a more expensive one, it would last as long as well, but I don't know. And yeah, I don't ever pay attention to someone's phones either. Like, if that same friend I've been talking about did not tell me he had an iPhone, I would not have known. Like, if you ask me what kind of phone my friends and family have, I know of a few, but most of them I have no clue. A bobsleigh coaster, that... I was going to say that's not going to happen, but now we do have a bobsled. So, that is going to happen. In terms of laptop, yeah, I have a cheap Windows one, but I barely ever use it. I just need to have a laptop, because sometimes I do use it. I do need one. I mostly only use my PC. My dad has an iPhone, also his work phone, and if he has a problem, I sometimes have a hard time helping him with it, so I just refer him to his work's IT department. Yeah, I mean, if someone would ask me for help with an iPhone, I mean, in certain situations I would still try, but I also know I wouldn't be able to help them as well. Of course, that's just because I'm not familiar with iPhones, that's nothing against iPhones. Although, when my stepdad, for some reason decided to get a Linux laptop, I told him that I'm not gonna help him anymore with any of his issues. Which he got a lot of, because he's not a techie and non-techies shouldn't get Linux. And I couldn't help him, because I didn't want to bother spending time learning Linux. Because I worked with Linux for a bit at uni and stuff, and it was awful. But my mom and my stepdad, my stepdad got a Windows laptop again. My mom does as well, and they both have Android phones, both of which I picked for them, based on their needs. My mom's got the same as me, a Galaxy A54 from Samsung, and my stepdad got same generation but a cheaper version, the Samsung Galaxy A24. I recently switched to Linux and it's way more comfortable than a few years ago. But yeah, if you're not a computer person, you probably shouldn't. I mean, let's say it like this. I had problems with it when I was in uni, which is admittedly more than a few years ago. But, I had problems with it, like, let's say 10 years ago. I was at the time reasonably reasonably good with computers for someone my age. Not amazing or anything, but could find my way around. My stepdad, definitely not. So yeah, he should never ever have gotten a Linux computer. It did not do him well. He couldn't print. He couldn't make books anymore in his favorite bookmaking software, like photo books and stuff, from Albert Heijn. Because that didn't work on Linux. And I was like, I'm pretty sure at least the printing stuff is possible to solve, but I'm not going to be asked doing that. So funny story about language. My Scottish buddy started to understand Dutch a bit more day by day as he is trying to understand our language. This was in 2023. One day someone told him about how they love bobsleds and he went, "Why is Bob a sled?" Is that a bit daft to say? I mean, we all know Bob, right? We all know Bob. So, yeah. He's not wrong. Okay, that doesn't align. Sled, by the way, is Dutch for slut. Which is why that's funny. Maybe Bob is a sled. Maybe it's none of your business what Bob's like to do in his free time. Hey, did I say I was judging him for it? I say bobsleigh, never bobsled in Dutch. Now, we're probably saying like English bobsled in English, and that sounds like Bob is a slut. Just like how in Swedish, I believe it's Swedish, you have the slutstation, something like that, which is, you spell it like slut station. We got a crash. Yeah, I think it didn't make it. So we need more speed. Nope. that worked. Bewust ongevallen bestuurdersslut. How about this, Bob? Bewust ongevallen, yeah, onbezopen. We have a whole, in the Netherlands, we have a whole campaign which is called Bob. If I just Google Bob, will we get... Yes. So, this is Bob. This is Bob. We also get the hairstyle, the Bob hairstyle, but this stands for bewust onbeschonken bestuurder, which is deliberately non-intoxicated driver. Oh, we got a crash again. Okay, I need to look at this a bit more carefully. It's basically, if you're Bob, it means you're not drinking so you can drive safely. It's been a whole campaign. It's been here for at least 20 years, I would say. And it's all about against drinking and driving. And it's actually so effective that it's literally changed the way we speak. Because not drinking just means bobbing now. You know, if you're saying, oh, you know, I am the Bob, that means you're not drinking. Okay, so why did it crash while it works fine now? Oh god, can it? Can they collide here? I have a feeling they can collide on this bit or something. Because it makes no sense that they would crash even earlier. Because it's not like they're out of speed. Well, they were kind of low on speed there, but earlier. Please tell me you have designated Bobs. I mean, we don't say it like that. We just say, I am the Bob. The word designated, whatever exactly the Dutch translation for that would be, aangewezen, I guess. Oh, they catch up? How does... Why are those... I think I just need to make some minimum waiting time. I always just assumed it was a marketing thing, calling someone Bob who doesn't drink. Never realized it was an acronym until now. You know, yeah, it is an acronym. Of course, it was probably deliberately chosen to make out, like, an easy name. Stuff like that. But still. It is actually an acronym, yeah. I mean, Dutch isn't that hard. Depends a bit, of course, on what your background is. If your background is Chinese, it's going to be harder than if your background is English or French. 4 to 6 weeks to decent fluency studying full time. I mean, full time is literally 40 hours a week, but that seems quick to me still. Because I believe that you can't just force something like that. I think in terms of learning a language, it's much more effective to do like 10 hours a week for 40 weeks than 40 hours a week for 10 weeks. Because it's gonna take a lot of repetition and sleeping on it and all that kind of stuff. Just like how learning something is much better if you do it 2 hours a day for a week than 14 hours in one day. Oh, we got a magic carpet. Nice. Hell, I can even speak Zuid-Afrikaan. Again, says the Dutch-speaking Scotsman. Can you speak Afrikaans? I mean, I can. Can you really, or do you just understand quite a bit of it? Have you actually studied it? It depends on the linguistical abilities of the person. Sure, but I don't think that the majority of people who don't speak Dutch at all can get to decent fluency within 4 to 6 weeks. Sure, maybe if you're like German. Because that's ridiculously close. Well, maybe, but... Afrikaans is basically 16th century Dutch. If you listen close enough, you can. I have tried, and I can't understand Afrikaans. Yeah, I can understand parts of it, but not properly. Ooh, a locked room. How about we built it in the mountains? For some reason, I always have the tendency to build long stations on log flumes and car rides in river rapids and such, which is not at all necessary. Because the amount of cars you get is dependent on the length of the track. I have trouble with Dutch. I can recognize some things, but it all just looks and sounds wrong to me. So wrong to me that it dissolves into gibberish. Hoe bedoel je? Nederlands is een super makkelijke taal om te leren. Wat doe je moeilijk over? See? That was easy. Add a reverser piece just before the photo section. Well, I've done 3. And then immediately another one to put them back, so that they always do the back. I know someone who grew up in South Africa, now lives in the US. You know Elon Musk? I talked Dutch to her just to see, and she could recognize some words, but definitely couldn't understand what I was saying for most of it. Yeah, that sounds like my experience with Afrikaans. Only this the other way around, of course. The reverser pieces don't actually affect the log flume's nausea rating. No. Well, maybe like one piece gives like a set bit of nausea, I'm not sure, but like going backwards or going forwards doesn't matter. If it affects the ratings, it's only that the piece itself gives a flat amount of rating. The log flume is painfully slow. Would be surprised if going backwards does anything. I'm not sure how those two are related, the fact that it goes slow and going backwards. But yeah, it doesn't really do anything. On-ride photos free. No longer. You shall now pay $5.30 for them. You can give it 30 drops and then even guests that prefer intense rides will ride it. Yeah, you can get it to over 10 intensity. I've done that once on extreme hills. Sorry, extreme heights. I wonder what happens if you put a water drop bout on it. Will that reverse? I don't know. I think you mean splashbouts? But I've done a steam train, which always leads to hilarity. You know what? we shall try. Okay, do we have this? No, not tile inspector. Object selection. Do we get the splash boats? Yes. Okay. Pensions list. Christ, that's a long inventions list. Okay, now we got the splash boats. Now we are going to show vehicles from other track types. Splash boat! Well, let's see what happens. I did tram swans on the river rapids. Was that inspired by me? Rapid transit, which is absolutely hilarious. I've done that many a time, trams on the river rapids. It's always fantastic. This boat feels like it's a little bit big to go through the turns. Yeah, that shouldn't quite fit. It doesn't quite fit. Okay, let's see what happens. Well. Did the game just crash? It's not the stream that's a problem. It's the game that's frozen. Well. It was the turning back that caused the problem. Did we just find the game crashing bug? Apparently so. Yeah, I don't think this is gonna respond anymore. Well, luckily we got autosave on. There we go. Okay, let's go back. And not do this anymore. This is safer. This isn't exactly intended behavior we're dealing with here. Yeah, but it still feels like it shouldn't crash the game. Like, I've put steam trains on it before and that was fine. So, you know. Feels like this should be fine as well. I'm gonna just pay back the loan. That saves us 182 euros a year, a month. I also don't think we're gonna need the entertainers anymore. Okay, is there any problem with the path? Okay, a bit of pukies here and there, but that's fine. I'm searching for vandalism. Nope. Since I solved it, there hasn't been any new stuff. I always found the log flumes a bit disappointing. I feel it should have more parts to play around with. Yeah, the log flume, the river rapids, the splash boats, the river raft, they all only have one turn radius. I want more than one turn radius. The river rapids only has tiny turns, the log flume only has small turns, and the river rafts and the splash boats only have medium turns. Just a passing thought, is harder gas generation switched on here? We'll find out at some point. I'm not gonna check, but it could very well be. Okay, so if it's enabled, we're gonna get to, well, 1,000, obviously. Once. Do we have enough for 1,000? We have 16 rides, plus a bunch of stall. Yeah, that should be 1,000. This one is long enough, so that gets us another, I think this is 80. So that's another 160, which is 1160. This one counts as well, so that's another 240, which would make 1,400. This one, not quite 6. Let's make it 6. There we go. Bobsled I think is 75, so it's 150. It'll be 1550 then. If harder gas generation is enabled. If not, then it's less. I kind of understand the turn radius to help it differentiate the river rapids, the log flume, and the splash boats mechanically. That's fair. It seemed odd to me that the log flume didn't get steep drops considering how ubiquitous that is IRL, even by the 80s and 90s. And steep is really super steep. IRL, surely they're kind of like half steep? So 45 degrees instead of 25 or 60? Because 60 is really steep. The fact that you're not strapped in, that seems dangerous to me. You know what, I'm not gonna bother building my own lift. Just gonna build one of these pre-builds. There we go, Skitterer. Skitterer. Not enough money? Okay, I'll borrow some again then. Yes, we can prevent flowers from withering, which is under the staff one, disable plants from withering. It also disables them from being watered by the rain or handyman. Apparently this scenario had allow building in pause mode cheats on, because I did not enable that. Those kind of cheats, either pause mode or maybe sandbox mode, those are things that are commonly forgotten to be turned off during scenario creation. I have found those still being turned on a number of times in different scenarios. You know what? I want the money again because I want to build a big ass roller coaster. Ducky 5 Park. We shall have all the looks. Is there land for sale? I haven't really thought about it. We don't need it. At least not right now. And also, no. I haven't really looked at the wider scenario yet. There's not... Oh, there's a bit of farmhouse-age going on. Farmage. Tiny town. With a church. Nice church. A gas station. This highway being this wide compared to the heights and stuff is extremely American, so that fits well. Then we got a big farm here with a big barn. That barn is very well built. And that's about it. We got a nice river. If it isn't enabled, then you can't click on the thing, yet here you can. No. If there's no land Bible, you've always been able to click on this thing. At least, no, always not true. In open, you have been able to do that for at least a while. That's true. The road's only 2 tiles, so isn't it just 2 meters wide? No, a tile is between 3 and 4 meters wide, depending on how you measure it. So this road is about 7 meters wide. Like, it's the same width as a house. Which seems very wide to me. Name morale of your choice. What do you want to name? Shadow Asylum 31. How's gaming? Gaming is good. So is straightening. Name the bobsleigh coaster Ice Blue Lighting. Lightling. I think you mean lightning. Which I'm going to assume you mean that. Yes, yes indeed. How are the stats of the log flume actually calculated? Because maybe it's my simple as mind, but I can't really see how you get nauseous from the log flume. Well, let's see. We got 1.2 for nausea. We can have a look. So, this is for the Giga Coaster, but we'll find the log flume. Other rides. So we can see here what it gets from various things. So from length it only gets excitement, no intensity, no nausea. It starts with 0 nausea. From maximum speed it gets some nausea, but less than intensity and excitement. It gets nausea from the turns, from the drops, from going underground. And that's about it. So yeah, you do get a little bit of nausea, but not too much. These are the multipliers for it. I mean, I can see getting a little bit of nauseous from a log flume. If anything, seasickness. You are on a boat, so that could factor in. Ah, the ducks. The beautiful wildlife with the ducks. The guests rowing over the ducks, killing one at a time. Food for the night will be on the table. Lol, these idiots are getting their back photographed. Like, smile, never mind. Idiots, and they're still buying the photographs. I mean, maybe the back of their heads are fascinating. Like, you never get that. Maybe there are some people that would actually like a photo of their back. Instead of just one from the front, as we always get. So I think, taking it from the back, I'm doing them a service. You know, it's something different, it's something unique. The back of the head is for privacy. What does the back of your head looks like that it's for privacy, that only you and your intimate partner may see it? We got the pukey there, pukey there, pukey there. I have a feeling we might need more handyman. Because we got too many pukies. Which is not nice. Imagine if a real theme park you would have that much puke. I have seen, like, I've been to theme parks a fair bunch of times. And I can only recall seeing puke once. Yeah, I clicked the add ducks button a few times. We can click it some more. Technically it's the create ducks button. And that's how you get a lot of ducks. There we go, we got some more. Now ducks were not introduced by OpenRST2. They exist in the vanilla game, but you don't get as many. Okay, how about a nice mine train coaster? Back of the head protects the data inside your head. Well, the front of my head does that just as well. Soon we're gonna have those kind of sponsors on YouTube. Has someone leaked the photo of the back of your head? Don't worry, with this new service you can get all those photos removed. Click my link in the description. Don't give them some ideas. I mean, if it was a serious problem, that would already exist. Incogni exists, which I've seen a lot of sponsorships for. But also, I have seen people actually saying it worked for them, so fair enough. And now I don't mean the people who got sponsored by them that said it worked. Like, independent people I've seen saying this, so... Seems to work. And on top of it, add the fact that such links are quite sus as well. I don't think they are. Like a service like Incogni, I don't believe that's suspicious. Now, of course, Honey turned out to be a massive scam, but that at least made sense, because their business model made no sense. You know what's interesting? We've talked about cultural differences between mostly the Netherlands and America, but also different countries. I watch Smosh, right? And Smosh reads Reddit stories. We have has had a lot of sponsorships from a service called ZocDoc, which apparently, at least in the USA, maybe other countries too, I don't know, it allows you to more easily schedule your doctor's appointments and stuff. And the most recent one, well, a lot of time, but the most recent one, specifically, Shane, who read the sponsor reads, said like, I'm booking my yearly physical. Well, that's a thing I've heard before, of course, but yearly physicals, as far as I know, are not a thing here. I've never heard someone here talk about their getting a yearly physical checkup. Maybe if they got a specific reason to do so, but not just a general one. And also, an interesting one he said is, I'm scheduling my two like 6-month dental appointments ahead. Is that a thing people do in the US? Because here I just go to my dentist, have my dental appointment, my teeth checked, and then we make the next appointment. Right there and then, when it's done, for roughly 6 months in advance. I don't need to plan that myself or plan anything ahead. No, I do everything through my dental office directly. Never heard of a service for that. Yeah, that seems weird to me as well. But like, at least I don't think I can even do it through a service. I can only do it through them, but I don't need to plan it ahead. I don't need, like, I have my next one planned, which is in, I don't know, like April, May, something like that. And the one after that will just plan after that one's finished, which is how it's been done my entire life. But what about yearly physicals? Because the only times I've ever been to a doctor, I'm 29, is when I had a specific reason to go to. Not just a general health checkup. And as I said, I've never heard anyone in my life, like my mom or whatever, talk about getting a yearly checkup or anything as well. And that was a completely new thing to me. that as a thing that general people do. Of course, I know people that have general frail health or whatever do get regular checkups, but they have a good reason to. And you know, I know for women it's like a thing, get your however frequent mammograms to detect breast cancer and all that kind of stuff. But again, that's a specific reason. It's more important when you're young and growing a lot. So in elementary, middle school, it becomes less necessary in your 20s and 30s if you're in good health, but it becomes more important again passing to midlife. Yeah, fair. I don't know what the Smosh audience is generally. Maybe there's quite a lot of like 50-year-old people there. I don't know. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I'm not against the idea. It's just a thing I've never heard of it outside of Americans or maybe Canadians talking about it online. My dad gets checked once a year by the doctor. That's basically a physical, I think. I mean, that seems like a physical to me. Spark doesn't have enough suffering. Yeah, you're right. Goodbye. Where is... Oh, yeah, there he is. He's almost exactly the color of the duck, so I couldn't spot him for a bit. I mean, I do remember going to the doctor for when I was young, just for general health checks, seeing if I was growing right and whatnot. I was always fairly tall for my age. But then puberty happened. And I didn't really get as big of a growth spurt as some other people did. I still got one. I'm not small in any way, but there's a friend of mine who used to be the smallest in our friend group, and now he's the tallest. I mean, I say now he's the tallest, been for over 10 years, of course, because we're nearly 30. But yeah, used to be on the taller side, and then I became a little bit below average. I'm 1 meter 80, which is 5'11", which is a bit below average. I know in America that's above average, but I'm Dutch, so... I had a friend like that. When we were in elementary school together, he was a runt and got picked on. Now he's 6'2" and jacked. Yeah, I mean, my friend didn't get picked on for being short. I mean, sometimes we made a little bit of a joke, but I wouldn't say that being picked on. .8 meters is tall to me. I mean, to you maybe, but in the Netherlands, it demonstrably isn't. Statistically, it's not. For men, anyway. Because it's below average. It's not short. My brother is a bit on the short side. He's 172, I think. Which is like 5'9"? Yeah, I think 5'9". Let's see. 172 centimeters, 2 feet. That's not right. It says 5.6 feet. It's 5. He's basically 5'8". 5'7". Technically close to 5'7.5". Which is on the smaller side, but he is not small. Small for a man, I would basically say under 1.70 m. And for women, of course, it's an entirely different scale. Is my mine train coaster long? It seems 600 meters. Yeah, 693 meters, 6.15. I don't know if harder gas generation is enabled, by the way. I'm just kind of building as if it is. Which is not a bad practice. Under 1.7 meters, that's me. Yeah, then I would call you short. I would like to go to like Japan or something, just so that I can feel very tall. Because that sounds like an interesting experience. People stopped to take pictures with my friend in Japan who was like 196. I mean, 196 is even tall in the Netherlands. Not picture taking tall, definitely not, but it is still tall. Will it make that? Oh, easily. In Vietnam, a lot of locals wanted to take pictures with me as well. It was more about my width than length, and though I think someone jokingly called me Buddha. You should then go to America, so you can feel thin. We should go to America together, so we can both be the thinnest in the room, for once. Aren't there some like Pacific islands which are even fatter? Like Nauru or something. Nauru has the highest obesity rate in the world. Yes. G-forces and airtime. They'll be fine. Ouch, that looks painful. They'll be fine. Isn't the 0G roll basically just a barrel roll with a fancy name? Well, if you go, you know, we'll just remove that and, you know, you first, right, if we do enable all durable track pieces. If you go from large 0G roll to normal 0G roll to barrel roll to inline twist. Inline twist has no height change at all. Barrel roll a little bit. 0G roll even more. And big 0G roll way more. So it's basically just that they're just the height component, which you can see really rather well like this, just becomes bigger and bigger. So yeah, the only change between a 0G roll and an inline twist is height. But to say that's the only change, it's like, yeah, that's just an aspect that can make a new element. Like, the only change between a half loop and a corkscrew is making a turn. Well, yeah, that's the definition of those elements, so. You could kind of say it like that, but that also doesn't really make sense. I have a feeling we're gonna do, like, not good on the G-forces. Why is the text at the very bottom unreadable? This is 5 inversions in a row. This doesn't feel pleasant. It's only 6 inversions in total, so it's not too bad, but... Now, how fast is it going there? Because if I remember correctly, you don't want to go too fast. Yeah, I have a feeling... Wasn't an inline twist just 100k an hour limit? I'm just gonna make this all a lot slower. Okay, that looks better. I hate the inline twist and I wish it wasn't enabled without cheats on the right that never originally got it. Why do you hate the inline twist though? Isn't that... Because it's an item, it's an element that exists. And for example, the Condor, Walibi Holland, like the standard SLC design, suspended looping coaster design, has it. So why not enable it on other rides? Because I don't think it's unrealistic, or am I wrong? Is it unrealistic? Would the stats differ if you put the inversions directly after each other or at different parts of the ride? I mean, they would differ. It would, like, if you kept everything the same, everything else, like the speed they went through them, all that kind of stuff, then no. It wouldn't make a difference, because time between inversions is not a factor that exists in the game. Just like how repeated exposure to high G-forces doesn't exist. For G-forces, only the absolute highest matters. It doesn't matter if you do 10 Gs once or 20 times, it's still the same. Of course, from doing that 20 times you get 20 drops or whatever, which gives you extra stats, but it's the Gs itself that doesn't matter. So if you have taken one vertical loop at 100 kilometers per hour and get like 7 Gs from that or whatever, and then take the next one at 90, that's fine. That doesn't do anything extra. 90 or 70 or 60 or whatever, it's all the same. Because you've already gone faster and gotten the higher Gs. It looks bad. That's not how those rides do their rolls, which is the logic for not enabling other track pieces by default. Yeah, that's a good point. Have you brought that up with the Open Rukt 2 team? Knowing you, there's a good chance you have. Balder hates ass bend, don't listen. Yeah, it doesn't like his ass bent. Alright Marcel, thanks for teaching me how to get the most out of this game. I'm addicted now. Another one bites the dust. No one can resist. Okay, what be the stats? Ooh, we did a little bit of excessive G-forceage. Lol. Well, it's fine. I mean, it's 3.10. It's literally 0.01 away from getting another 5 intensity or whatever. 5, maybe more even. Like 3.11 would have been disaster. 10.65 is too high for intensity, but it's just fine. Like, guests will still ride it. Why do you not decorate your park? I sometimes do, but in general it's not really my style. So yeah, I guess I'll still ride it, so it's perfectly fine. It doesn't quite have 6 excitement, so for harder guest generation this doesn't really work. So yeah, I am gonna see if I can lower that a bit. Let's see. Oh, I had to drink some water a while ago. Maybe I already did that, maybe not, I don't remember. Oh, that's still a problem. It's that small 0G roll that's problematic. I'll be like 2.85. Oh, 2.77. It shows up red here. It's only tiny. Well, 2.77 is fine. Happy partner anniversary. I don't know what it is, but Twitch told me to do it. That means I've been Twitch partner for 5 years. Well, I don't know if it means 5 years, but I've been Twitch partner for 5 years. I don't remember seeing this before, so I don't think they do it every year. Or maybe they just recently introduced it. Okay, I'm going to start to let more guests in. And I'm going to make everything a bit cheaper. Because I don't want them to leave. I want to actually get more guests. Hello, little fella. 9006. That is a number that if you turn it around, like rotate it 180 degrees, it's still 9006. That means I've been watching you on Twitch for maybe 4 to 5 years. It's amazing how fast time goes, doesn't it? I've played this game live for so many hours now. How can you build so nice roller coasters? Well, I wouldn't really say this is a good roller coaster, considering all the problems with the lateral G-forces. I mean, if you want my honest experience, then this I didn't build. That was already there. Most of this, I think I built about half of this. Half this was already there. The other ones, well, experience, I guess. Okay, how about a 600 meters long wild mice? "13 years more and your Twitch partner anniversary will be able to legally drink. Don't tell the Americans. They wouldn't agree with that." I haven't made a ride over 10 excitement yet. That's mostly just a point of making them longer. Hey, we got the most beautiful park in the country award. I have seen quite often people say, how do I get my rides more exciting? In like a scenario like Volcania, where you need exciting rides to beat it. And then very often they just have built a tiny short ass ride. It's not like they're at 9.9 intensity so that they can't add more. No, they're at like 7 intensity and have just built a very short ride. And the answer is, make it longer. Don't forget to give it turned slopes. Turned slopes. Good point, I should use those more. Because apparently I can't even pronounce them. Also, the ducks are leaving! For a looping coaster per se, what do you say the length to be? I mean, if you want to get to 10 excitement, it depends on a lot of other factors too as well, of course, but usually at least probably 1500 meters. You can do it shorter if you optimize everything, but quite a long time, quite a long ride. But as I said, there's no single answer for this. But there's definitely people who've built like 500 meter rides and then ask on Reddit why they don't have the required excitement. It's like, well, your ride is 500 meters long, only has 4 drops. What did you expect? Make it longer. In general, just my advice for learning to build coasters is do stuff. Like, you don't get what you want, try stuff. Make it more exciting, try stuff. Build it differently. You know, put it more inversion, see what that does. Just make it longer, put in more drops, see what that does. Make it taller, make it faster, see what that does. And then eventually you'll get the hang of kind of what various things do. And eventually you can start to better and better understand the system and exploit it more. I've yet to get the coaster to 10 excitement on its own, but I've had coasters that have hit 10 excitement after I've built a load of other rides near and around them. Yeah, you can boost it a lot with that. Like, I once built, like, what was it, like 100 meter long ride with 10 excitement? Because I absolutely maxed out everything. It was literally in a video about the challenge for the shortest ride with 10 excitement. And yeah, you can of course, you know, watch my videos, watch Dirk, well, I don't know if Dirk does this topic, but, you know, watch my videos as Stu's videos, maybe Mick and Man or something like that, and read guides and stuff to learn a bit more quicker on how Roller Coaster Tycoon works. Now you can maximize your rides, but stats of your rides. But ultimately, I figured out almost everything myself. Like, I wrote the guide, but I still had to know how to do it before I wrote the guides. So, if I can do it, why can't you? Because yeah, YouTube is my full-time job now, but when I learned how to build exciting roller coasters, it wasn't. I didn't even do YouTube yet. Okay, I have a feeling it's not going to make this hill. But we'll see. There it comes. Yeah, no it doesn't. Is this 600 meters yet? No, definitely not. Is Gentle Glen the only scenario where the guests prefer soft rides? Maybe. I don't know. I can't think of another one at the top of my head, but that doesn't mean there isn't any. Have you played Roller Coaster Tycoon 4 or 5? No, but I have played Roller Coaster Tycoon 7, which is pretty good. Is it 600 now? I think we're roughly on the edge of it. Still don't know if we need 600 meters, but better to safe than sorry. Maybe this is too intense. I've made it quite long. Okay, it's not a wooden wild mouse. That one's really quite annoying with this stuff, but still a wild mouse, which is still quite intense. That hill looks fun. It's a bit slow paced for what I usually do with wild mice, but it's alright. I never picked up on the nuance and the use of other coasters. I just want to make loops. And making loops is fun. Thank you for the 29 months, Tanner. Ah, we had a drowning. Murder guest 666. No. We start out with the guests 8900 here. I can maybe do 9666. Yeah, I can do 9666 for you. Who's currently stuck on a chairlift. Okay, 757 meters and 7.49 excitement. That's good. Goodbye, 9666. You are die ill. And an exit path. Ever see the American Rucked TV ad? No, I don't remember seeing any advertisement for Roller Coaster Tycoon. I think my critical flaw when designing the relevant coasters is that I almost always insist on creating interlocking loops. They tend to not work out on the woodies. You can do it on woodies, but you have to be careful because woodies are quite intense. I mean, there's one of the pre-builds even has it, called Great White Whale. And they even are timed well with the use of block brakes. Like, two trains go through them at the same time. Simultaneously. Is it possible that the peeps drown by accident somehow? I mean, if you forget an exit path over water, then yes. That's not always an accident with me. But it's possible. I've done it by accident before, yes. This is such a massive list of rides that we can research. Can't they drown on a sloped path like mechanics? You're confusing two different things. Mechanics, I don't know if they still can. Maybe it's been fixed, but at least at some point they could kind of fall through the exit and the ride after fixing or inspecting a ride. And guests could, after entering the park, if the path was sloped upwards, fall through it. That's definitely been fixed. So yeah, sometimes, for example, for the boat hire, also for the Wild Mouse, mechanics could, maybe still can, drown. It's a very small chance, but it does happen. It can also happen in other situations, like this exit, where they can technically fall through it, but it doesn't matter because they doesn't do anything. There's ground immediately below them. Okay, time for a big ass splash boat. That's the other thing, I've yet to properly practice using block brakes as intended. That's something I can do it, I guess, but I never do it. I'm not very good at timing them. I find it easier to just build a long station. Don't forget the rewards. Oh, indeed. The number of the beast, the big twister coaster. 666. Ah, it just broke down. Dun, 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 dun. This is gonna uglify the park a lot. If we make it long enough, it will also be 600 meters long and have 6 excitement. I wish you could use weight in coaster testing. My synchronized ride changed in timing with guests. Yeah, that would be nice, but like just have a setting for like maximum guest weight. You can technically do that by changing the weights. Yeah, this is funny. Hang on. Tile inspector. Yeah, we'll use the twister coaster. Why not? This is ride ID 47. Right, set mass 47. Make it just 100. And now. Just look at it. How slow it goes, how fast it loses speed. It doesn't even make it up there. It loses speed very quickly. Because it's incredibly light. On the other hand, if you make them ridiculously heavy, then they will barely lose any speed at all. You need to learn this now. Well, that's quite easy. Open a console. It's ride set mass, and you need the ride ID, which you can get with the tile inspector, and then whatever number. The default of the twister coaster, well, it's not just one. The default is 650 for the main cars and 525 or something for the little thing at the front. If you make it 1, it will barely go at all. Just look at this, hang on. It doesn't even make it there. Like it loses speed so quickly. But it's still got quite a bit of weight behind it because of the guests. If we make it go without guests, make it 1 again. You do need to redo it every time you respawn the trains. But look at how slow this goes. Like it only gets up to 38 kilometers per hour. And look at how fast this slows down to nothing. And that was a crash. Well, at the same time, if I make this 10,000, it's gonna keep a lot more speed. Which means it got 2.77 Gs with normal weight, right? Let's see how many G-forces it gets now, because it keeps a lot more of its speed. Alright, CS Linen, thank you. Oh, it didn't get retested. Whoops. Okay, now it's gonna get retested. Okay, now it's even heavier because it's got guests in it. Let's see how many Gs we got. 3.02. That's a massive difference. That's a quarter more. Just from being heavier. Because it lost less speed by the time it gets to this problematic element. Can I get this graph, please? Yeah, that's quite a big thing. Are you decorating your park with a roller coaster? Not really, no. I mean, it's kind of already decorated. There's a lot of decoration already there. Okay, time to continue building the splash boats. I have a feeling we are losing a lot of guests. Are guests leaving the... I'm running out of cash is a common thing. Do we have cash machines? No. Okay, I'm just gonna make this cheaper then. Right, I'm gonna make this free. This is gonna be free. This is gonna be free. Umbrella's gonna be normal price again. I want to keep guests around. Okay then. Since everything is gonna be cheap, we can actually charge 45 for this, so they won't have some income. Penetrate some rides with your splash pad. I can't, because I don't think there's a loop there. I guess we could penetrate those, but other than that we don't... Oh, we have some loops there. We could, but it's quite far away. So I'm not sure if I want to. I did see the cash machine in the inventions list when you had it open. Yeah, but that's the inventions list, that's not researched. Ducky fight a park. There we go again. Ducks, 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 ducks. Doesn't sound like a word anymore when you say it as often like that, doesn't it? Okay, I'm ready for penetration. Can you even penetrate this? Maybe I need to be one lower? Yeah, baby! Double penetration! Glitchy penetration. Well, that's a new porn category. Park with the best roller coasters, hell yeah. Okay, that thing is at least 600 meters long. It's gonna take like 10 minutes. It is a monstrosity, yes. I want more boats. 48 boats. That's a ridiculously long queue. Okay, that's just extremely ugly. This looks still somewhat nice. Okay, I don't want pink, because we already got pink. How about green? Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Okay, how about we make a massive queue? Because this will probably be the most exciting park in the ride, so it will get a lot of guests. still need to make that video on how guests actually choose the ride to go on. Which is probably going to be a very long video, considering it can be quite a complicated matter. There's a lot of variables to take into account. You haven't covered it before? No, not how they pick which ride to go. I mean, I've covered like parts of it in other videos where it was relevant. Like in my video about guests, about beating the game without guests ever going on a ride. I think I covered that they will always go for the most excited ride they haven't ridden. But of course, that's also has caveats and so kind of reasons for that. Interesting fact is that on these kind of boat rides, with these roller lift hills, the heavier they are, the slower they go. Look at this, there's guests in this one, and the gap between these two is bigger than the gap between these two. And this empty one is caught up to this one with guests. And this one's going like 0, 1, while this one is going just 1. They go the same speed on like flat bits and stuff, and of course when downhill they maintain speed longer because they're heavier, but when going up they go slower. That makes sense. It does, but on normal chain lifts that's not the case. Only on these roller chain lifts. Not chain lifts, right? Roller lifts. There come the first one to penetrate the loop. And we get this nice turnaround, which kind of looks like a pear. Everything goes pear-shaped. That's an expression, right? That clearance seems safe. I don't think you can call this clearance. I think this is... For there to be any clearance, it should be clear of each other, which it's not. Not really. But it seems to work, so even negative clearance can work. It's ridiculous. Fix it, devs. Oh, the OpenRT2 devs could fix this in an instant, but I don't think it needs to be fixed. They have already made looping clearance a little bit tighter, and at some point they made it too tight, so that some of the pre-builds wouldn't even work. If you go to older versions, then for example the Bumblebee from the looping coaster, which I don't really have available here, but the chain lift goes through a looping, and that doesn't work there, so they had to revert it because I don't think I was the only one that complained, but I complained and I was like, yeah, that's not acceptable. Like, you can't make it so tight that the pre-builds literally don't work, that you can't build them without enabling zero clearance. And they were like, yeah, fair. To be honest, some of what you would be able to do was absolutely ridiculous, so I don't think it's a problem that they removed that. Okay, we're nearly done with testing this thing. It's gonna be ridiculously long. Everyone that's on it will want to get off. Well, not this one yet. I guess 9958, he's still doing fine. What coaster do you want me to build, Mr. Vedros? Built an aquatic coaster. I think you mean water coaster, which yes I do have. I wasn't sure if I had, but I do. First though, let's see how long this thing is. "7 minutes. And it's 9.55 excitement, which yes is the highest in the park. Hang on, we can easily bump this up to 10. Okay, that's 9.96. $10.29 extreme. We should save. We don't have a lot of money, which makes sense considering I've kind of slashed quite a bit of my income. I don't think we need this many staff members. Although a few more mechanics probably can't hurt. Well, one more. What boosted it so far? The line-up piece. That's a synchronization thing. I enabled synchronization on both of the rides, which gets another 0.4. The standard is 0.4. Some rides have a little bit different. Well, let's see. No, it's 0.4. 9.89 to 10.29. And then these path pieces doing like head chopper elements do another like 0.3 or something. Okay, where do we have space? Just build a station here. And we'll be fine. Why about there? Because there's space. Now, I could just go into a big water splash, which is what would be conducive for an interesting water coaster ride. But then you immediately lose all your speed, which is not conducive to a good experience for me. So I'm gonna save the water for later. Now. Now we can go up again. Now we're running out of money. Why are we not getting a lot of guests? Okay, clearly they are not oh, they're spawning again. Clearly we are running against our soft guest cap, which I'm pretty positive at the moment. It cannot be harder guest generation, right? Because that will be 240 from here, 240 from here, which is already 1480. Yeah, no, it would have been way higher than that. So it's not harder guest generation, right? Let's just check. No, it's not. Which just means we need more rides. Cheap rides. Well, that does mean I don't need to build a long ass water coaster. Hang on, that does a bit. running out of money. Made it with 176 euros in the bank. How much do they pay for the splashy boaty? Nothing. The rides are all free. Because they pay for the entry. Well, they should get us a lot of guests, and it is indeed getting us a lot of guests. We are still getting new rides. There's so much to research. Well, I mean, we're only in year 3, it's not that special. Some parks have kind of small research trees. Not this one though. The safest park in the country. Good. Good, we are indeed very, very safe. Not a problem in sight here. Not a safety problem in sight ever. Nah, not us. We deserve that award. How many years time do you have? None, because there's no time limit, so they're kind of not applicable. You just need to get 2,000 guests. How is it research anyway? How is research anyway? Do you invent the Ferris wheel every scenario? There's just a set order of rides you have, and well, the rides you have is not ordered, but there's a number of rides you have at the start, and then there's a set order in which you research. And then it only selects from the categories you have selected here. So if you go to inventions list, this is the order. And as you can see at the top, there's a lemonade stall, there's a miniature railway, donut shop, theming, because those are all the categories that we skipped. The next one will be the mini helicopters. That's a gentle ride, so that one we will get. And indeed, it's the mini helicopters. But if we now do everything, it'll start at the top and we'll only get those 3 categories for a while because we skipped those and we're behind on them. And it's always the same order in every scenario, but per scenario it differs. For example, Crazy Castle, the ATM, I think is the 8th stall that you research. So it takes you at least a year to get the ATM in Crazy Castle. That's if you do maximum research only on stalls. Which usually you won't know to do, because you won't know that that's the case in that scenario. Unless you've played it before. Do you consider this scenario challenging or not? I think the start was quite challenging. After that, not so much. That's usually the case with these kinds of scenarios. Well, not so much. It's not easy. Like, it's taken me a good while to build all the rides to get to 2,000 guests. We're not there yet, but I do think we have enough rides now at least. Because we're getting guests quite quickly. It does help that we do have 2 awards, multiplying it by 1.56. Will this be on YouTube? Yes, my Marcel VOD's channel. The one with the blue background instead of the green. A little bit more balloonage. Guests are getting lost or... What? Oh. Whoops. Better fix that, otherwise my park rating goes to the shitter. Once you know the fundamentals, the game has had virtually no challenge so far. I mean, there's a good reason for that, because they needed to balance this game for 8-year-old kids. I'm a 29-year-old man who has spent the last decade of his life extensively studying this game. A bunch of years full time. So I may hope to God that if it's possible for an 8-year-old to beat the game, that it should be stupidly easy for me, considering how much time I've put into it. Name a ride of your choice. What are you gonna name? Back in the day, no one could beat this game. I mean, I couldn't as a kid, so at least for me that rings true. I could beat some scenarios, but not all. Yeah, 1935, we're getting there, we're getting there. Call the splash boats, hallowed be thy name. The sands of time for me are running low, running low. What are the stats of the watercaster? Let's have a look, shall we? Shitty, probably. 6 but I did not expect it. I did not expect this to be 600 meters long either. Well, if we had harder gas generation, it would qualify. Just, but it does. 6.08 excitement and 694 meters of length. It's pretty good, actually. I remember Dinky Park was a blockade and me and my friends couldn't beat it. Okay, I could beat that one, but I never got past Paradise Pier, and that's unlocking, right? I never got in RST1. The furthest I ever unlocked was either Crumbly Woods or Paradise Pier. I think Paradise Pier. That means I stopped beating a few scenarios earlier. I do remember seeing scenarios like Thunder Rock and Rainbow Valley as a kid. But I never ever got to play them. In fact, the first time I ever beat these scenarios legitimately in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 itself was for a video where I wanted to beat the game without building any path. The first time I beat these last 4 scenarios, and maybe a few before that as well, legitimately in Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 was without building any path. Because all the times I played them before was just via OpenRST2. Which, I mean, kind of still counts, but it doesn't, like, officially I guess it doesn't count. There are still lots of scenarios here which I haven't beaten in RST1. Which obviously I could, sure. But I have no reason to. I have beaten them all, but even in one day. I literally, in OpenRST2. I even did a video about it, well, Livestream. We are nearly there. The year is 1985, 1986. The year is edging ever so could be closer to completion. They all want to be cat of hallowed be thy name. There are 99 guests. Well, there are 446 guests on it. That's a lot on one ride. 1993, nearly my birth year. Oh, guest spawning has dried up again. Wait. Oh, that closed right was helper. Let's build a few more shops and stalls. They will attract guests too. That should do it. Got a few more handymen to keep up with all the broken down rides. Because when rides are broken down, they do not give soft guest cap. And there we go. 1995, 1996, my birth year. The greatest year of all time. 97. 96. 97. And there we get to the 2000s. 94. 95. 96. 97. 98. 97 again. 98. 99. 2000. Yay! We've beaten it. I love beating it. Took us little over 2.5 years. 2.5625 years. 4.5 of the 8 months. 9/16 of a year. I quite enjoyed this scenario actually. KV said I shouldn't play it because it's old and maybe not great, but I liked it. It was fun. And yeah, the first bit was quite challenging. After that, it wasn't easy necessarily, but it wasn't too challenging. At least there was no lose condition. It would maybe take me a while to get enough money and all that kind of stuff, but I couldn't really lose anymore at least. So well, that was good timing. Good timing to end the stream. So, well, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this scenario. And I'm gonna see who I can raid. How about Medurza? Oh, that's in Polish. Never mind. We'll raid Gerald Bear then. He's doing Dragon's Cove in Classic. Oh, he's currently doing a BRB. Maybe that's not ideal. I'll send you to Amiable then, who's doing Gentle Glen. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. I'll send you to Amiable. Hope you have a fun time at their stream. If not, that's fine too, of course. And I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.